What do we have for Cancer? Eight of Cups, Pisces energy at the foundation of the reading, Cancer. Before I began this reading, I was collecting my downloads and my notes, and I was also pulling on the energy just to see what would come out. And I pulled a bunch of different cards, but this Eight of Cups came out multiple times. And one of the messages, one of the downloads that I have for all of you is that a lot of lies are being unearthed at the moment. But these lies are being unearthed and being exposed to you in a very unconventional way. And what I mean by this is, it's not as if people are coming forward. It's just an intuitive knowing that you have, a deeper knowing. You're starting to look at things surrounding your path and your life as a whole in a way that you never have before, Cancer. And I feel that this is all post-eclipse energy coming through for you. A lot was put in to creating this resistance and stagnation on your path. So much so, you just didn't even really notice it because you were so consumed by it on the day-to-day, right? You can't see the forest for the trees. That's exactly what I'm getting here. And this Eight of Cups is really speaking about you not looking back anymore. It's time to move on. You know this. Most of you have already moved on. In fact, a lot of you are preparing to step into this new timeline if you haven't already. That is a direct reflection on the relationship that you have strengthened with the divine. You're coming from a timeline where people treated you like a pushover. People treated you like you were their whipping boy or whipping girl. People thought that they could take advantage of you for their own selfish needs. It's an energy of always feeling like you're at service to other people's success. But these are the same people that also tossed you out like a piece of trash as soon as they got a leg up, causing you to have to start from the very beginning. I feel that this happened multiple times for a lot of you. But then something took place, Cancer. You had an awakening. You started to realize that it's not about any of these other people. It's about you. But in saying that, this is the path that individuals like yourself have to walk. You have to experience this. It is that Cinderella energy. But it also speaks about the kind of individual you are. Selfless. You'll go to the end of the earth to help another individual. You'll take the shirt off your back, metaphorically speaking, or maybe even literal, for another individual that probably doesn't even deserve it. Because if they did, they would most likely still be in your life right now. You were guided to go in a direction that no one supported, and it actually worked out for you. I feel that you had everything in your physical reality going against you, but the one thing that was working in your favor that nobody else could see was the connection that you were nurturing with your higher guidance. A lot of you were the glue in these situations that you've left behind, and now this is something that's becoming very clear to all those individuals. There's something that they simply could not replace when you were removed from the equation. A lot of you were literally incarnated into this life cycle to walk this path, to try and create awakening in other individuals' lives. I'm picking up tower energy here, and this is usually the type of message I'll have come through for Scorpios. It's the energy of creating a kind of upheaval in individuals' lives to trigger awakenings. But here I am getting it intuitively for you, Cancer. It may just be a water sign thing that I'm picking up here. Let's keep going. But this is also Eight of Cups, Pisces energy. And eighth house of transformation, Scorpio energy. So there's this connection here that I'm feeling between the three water signs. Chariot, Cancer, that is your energy right there at the sacral. See, these dynamics that you've removed yourself from, Cancer, their whole purpose was to get you to give up. So you would never actually find your way. It's an energy that really wanted you to lack any sort of control and direction in your own life. So they can essentially make you a kind of slave to their bidding, to their own needs. Now, Cancer, this is something you're starting to realize that you actually enabled. So you allowed this to happen without even fully knowing the extent of the damage that you were doing to yourself, spiritually, well, and physically speaking. But there's another side to this. And that's having an understanding of the kinds of people that would actually allow you to position yourself like that. You know, I'm of the thinking that anybody who truly cares and loves you would simply not allow this to happen. They would try and awaken you to the fact that you are positioning yourself to allow other individuals to take advantage of you. This is what's been illuminated to you in recent days, Cancer. And I feel that you're asserting yourself in this new timeline in a way that you never have at any point in your life. There's this mass awakening that's taken place. And, there's so many different ways awakening can show up in your life. But the way that I'm getting it here for you, Cancer, is around your perception. You've had an awakening around the way you perceive life and the relationships that you keep. I also feel that for the first time ever, for a lot of you, you're more focused and more driven than you've ever been. It's as if a kind of fog has cleared, and this has to do with these connections that you've released from your life, Cancer. They had such a negative impact on the way you were perceiving your reality. A lot of negativity here. I'm picking up heavy family dynamics as well. And it's interesting because this reading, and I was feeling this before I even began the reading, can go two ways. You're either a Cancer dealing with this energy, or you're a cross-watcher dealing with shadow Cancers who hold this energy. So take that as it fits, and some of you could even be Cancers that are dealing with shadow Cancers. They're the complete opposite of you. They're unawakened. Every zodiac sign has their negative polarity, essentially the bizarro of your zodiac sign. Some might argue that there's actually 24 different zodiac signs, because the difference between an unawakened zodiac and an awakened zodiac is on opposite sides of the spectrum. But in saying that, Cancer, whoever it is you are dealing with, there's quite clearly an energy here that is telling me that you are taking the path of the black sheep. You are the only one who managed to awaken to the truth of our reality, or enough of it to at least get going, and take the power back and march in the direction of your purpose as a means to fulfill your destiny. Eight of Cups is showing us here that you have learned everything you need to learn and you're moving on. And this Chariot at the sacral is showing us that you are walking in an energy of victory. You are now heading in the direction of your North Node. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Six of Wands. Two cards of victory back to back. And isn't it funny, Cancer? It took you walking away for all of this to begin to unfold in your life. Leo energy with the Six of Wands at the solar plexus. This speaks about, again, you taking the power back, or for most of you, finding it really for the first time ever. When you go through an awakening like this, you do have that realization that though you may have thought you were in your power before you got to this particular space you're in now, you are not. It's only just now that you really see and feel what it means to be fully in control over your life. There's this energy of freedom that I'm feeling here as well. As you can see, this white dove has been released from this cage. I feel that this is also really representing a part of yourself that is no longer Cancer. This is something you had to leave behind, an old version of yourself, an old story you told yourself. And it's also representing your journey forward as this new transformed version of the person you once were, Cancer. This is also coming in at the solar plexus, which is the home position for Aries and Scorpio. So again, I'm feeling this Mars energy here for you. There's a kind of breaking down that's had to take place for this new beginning to start for you. And this is not a peaceful process, Cancer. I quite often talk about how spiritual awakening itself is a violent process. There's nothing peaceful about it at all. It can be compared to breaking an addiction to a substance, that substance being your previous life and the people in it, the toxicity that was being mainlined to you. What do we have at the heart, please? '88. Eight of Cups, Eight of Pentacles, Virgo energy at the heart. A lot of you are just now starting to make some sort of progress on a path that you've seemingly been grinding away on for a very long time. But what you're starting to understand is that there was certain common denominators that were hindering your progress on said path. It's like being around individuals that drain you of your love and excitement for life. They bring a dark cloud over all sectors of your existence and just make it completely impossible to make any sort of forward momentum. And again, I'm picking up strongly family dynamics here. A lot of you were in karmic contracts, cycles with individuals that had different forms of mental illness. Now, it's one thing to keep to yourself and not affect other individuals' lives when you are suffering with a kind of mental illness, and lots of people suffer with this. Lots of people can manage it. But what I'm picking up for you, Cancer, are individuals that I feel are now being deemed as mentally unstable, which isn't the problem, okay? Let me just make that very clear. The problem is that these individuals are making it everybody else's problem because they're not seeking treatment. They want other people to suffer with what they are suffering with. This is very, very common. And as you are moving forward, a lot of you are starting to truly understand that the cycles you've graduated on from were indeed with individuals who had some sort of untreated mental illness and were making other people suffer because of it. Now, this is a very tricky subject matter to navigate because you don't want to see people suffer, so you do what you can to help. But then what you start to realize is unless they are doing things to help themselves, you are just essentially becoming a part of their distorted perception of reality. See, but this is also different because this is a kind of mental illness that has narcissism at its core. And all narcissists are suffering with a form of mental illness that goes untreated. And they attack the world by trying to control others. Now, that's a lot to take in, Cancer, but simply put, it's you looking back and in awe with the fact that you were actually dealing with individuals who held this sort of sickness. And you were made to feel that there was actually something wrong with you. It's another umbrella of narcissism that we refer to as gaslighting. It's all you. Your perception is off. So with all this in mind, Cancer, I feel that these revelations you are having are bringing forth some much-needed validation that you, in fact, were not going crazy. Your perception was right on target. And I feel that other individuals that may have been connected to you and some of these other people are starting to really recognize these other individuals that have been coming against you for who they really are now. A lot of it has to do with the fact that you've disengaged. You're nowhere to be found. For some of you, it's been several years since you've had any contact with these people, and you've had steady progress in your life in a way that you've never had before. There's simply no denying what it was that was always holding you back. That's why I always tell people, if you're feeling blocked or like there's no good reason why you're not having success in a certain area of your life, then you need to start looking at all the energies that may be external to you, the people, even environments, your surroundings is really what it comes down to, Cancer. Take a break, disconnect for a little while, and see how things start to move inside your energy. Now, when you start to have these sorts of revelations, it's very shocking to think that there was one or two people quite possibly in your family that could have been creating this complete blockage in certain areas of your life. Now, when you're born into families like this, it's by a complete miracle. It's by God's hands that you even wake up to this. And this path here that I'm picking up for all you Cancers is not a path for the faint-hearted. This is a path for incredibly strong individuals. This takes spiritual strength, it takes faith, and it takes hope. And then right on the bottom of the deck, strength, Leo energy. So it takes strength, faith, hope. What do we have at the throat, please? The moon, Pisces energy at the throat. And this is speaking about what I mentioned at the beginning of the reading about lies being unearthed. But these lies go so deep, Cancer. It's like waking up to the fact that everything that has ever unfolded in your life has been meticulously crafted by a very small handful of people. It's like they created this whole reality that was influencing you down a path that led you away from your ultimate purpose. It's like being born between two individuals and trusting that they knew what was best for you. And obviously, as a child, as a baby, you don't have any choice. But as you get older, you just start to see that life is a whole lot different than these other individuals told you it was. Because what I'm getting here for quite a lot of you is that your childhood dynamics were influenced by very narcissistic individuals. You were set out on a path that served their ultimate, I was going to say purpose, but then I heard agenda, right? It's like they set you down a path of destruction just to see what would happen. But the one thing that they did not expect to happen was for an awakening of this magnitude to unfold in your life. Because this awakening brings down the entire structure by which they have been living their lives. It's a kind of complete exposure. And you don't even need to do anything. All you need to do is just keep heading in the direction that you're going. The further you get down that path, the more truth that is exposed to you, which leads to more illumination surrounding who these other individuals are in their own lives. A lot of you aren't even in contact with these people anymore. But again, you were the glue that held it all together, Cancer. It took them a while to figure it out that your absence was a deciding factor on how the rest of their lives were going to look. There's a tremendous amount of regret and guilt that I'm picking up from some of these people. And I do feel it saddens you sometimes, Cancer. You wish it could have been different. But unfortunately, the extent by which these individuals went to keep you from fulfilling your destiny is enough to never look back. Sure, you can forgive, Cancer. It's all a part of the process, but it doesn't mean that you need to entertain any of these individuals in your life ever again. And the forgiveness is only had from a place of understanding that they're simply unawakened and they just don't get it. Vibrationally, they are beneath you. They haven't gone through the awakening process. They don't see things from this perspective that you've been given access to. So you almost don't even blame them for their actions. You understand that there's something else going on there. They've been hijacked by a kind of dark force. What do we have at the third eye, please? Ace of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy at the third eye. So we have 3 cards of victory on the table. There's an energy of raw power here, Cancer. You've never been so sure about anything in your entire life. The level of confidence that you're harnessing now is something that you only dreamed of being able to access. And now here you are, completely surrounded with the reflection of the person you've become. And what I mean by that, Cancer, is your transformation and this person you've been transformed into has been seen and received by the universe. You are projecting this beautiful, high vibrational energy out into the collective, and the universe is amplifying all of that back in your waking life. So as each day goes by, things get better and better. The problems, the baggage from these previous cycles slowly begin to dissipate. Awakening is a process. Awakening is perpetual. I believe we just reach different benchmarks in the process. But this time you will look back on in the future, and you're going to be so grateful for this journey that you've been gifted with by the divine. Awakening's a gift. Seeing truth is a gift. The energy that surrounds you is a blessed one. And you can release the fear that this can be taken from you, Cancer. What do we have at the crown, please? 2 of Cups, Cancer. That is your energy at the crown, confirming everything I just said. So as you make your way down this path, things get better and better. The baggage dissipates. The burdens of the previous karmic cycles cease to exist. But the beautiful part about this is that for everything that you release, the universe replaces it with something of much greater value. A gift. This 2 of Cups is representing all of that. For some of you who may be single, this could be a new connection that's waiting for you on this new timeline. A connection that you could not entertain in this previous karmic cycle because it would have been spoiled. But you also couldn't access this connection because it's only made possible by your vibration. I just mentioned that during the process of awakening, we have these kind of benchmarks, right? This is one of those. It's like this connection, whatever it may be, is waiting for you. And for others of you, it's just you coming into alignment with new opportunities, different kinds of partnerships, whether it's in your career, new friends, or just people that are wanting to bring value to your life because they believe that you could add value to theirs. There's a concept wouldn't you say, Cancer? A lot of you have been made to feel that you're obligated to allow people into your life, even when they don't add value. I don't know why the Cancer Collective feels like they need to be at service to other individuals with no reciprocity. But all I know is the collective of Cancers that I'm reading for here today have put their foot down, and this is just simply not something that is going to continue moving forward. What do we have at the foundation, please? Wow. Nine of Wands, Martiosius, Sag energy. And this goes along with what I just said. Nine of Wands is all about keeping and maintaining boundaries with people. You will have people come across your path, Cancer, that try and test your faith. They'll see if they can quite possibly pull you back into a previous karmic cycle. And one of the downloads I got was you needing to be careful of people who look like karmic individuals from your past that are trying to get into your energy, right? It's same spirit, but different human, okay? Now, this is very relevant for the astrology because we're in this Mercury retrograde. Sometimes we're excited to have a new connection in our life, a new friend. For those of you that are single, maybe it could be a romantic individual, but really pay attention to the astrology, okay? Because I would not recommend connecting with anybody new during a Mercury retrograde. Because for me personally, from my own experience, 100% of the time, this has always failed. Looks good at first, and then something just happens. And then you have to slap yourself in the face because you start to realize, oh my God, this person's just like so-and-so from the past. But what I said about them looking like other individuals, there's something going on right now inside the collective where it's like these spirits can't hide from us anymore. So again, you could have somebody come into your life. Everything seems good, but you also notice, hey, they kind of look like so-and-so. I don't know who needs to hear that right now. I had somebody come into my life not so long ago, and everything seemed good. Everything seemed normal. Everything seemed positive. But then after a little while, I started to notice something kind of off about this person. And around the same time, I also realized that they looked exactly like an individual from my past who brought a lot of chaos and drama into my life. And I actually didn't recognize that when I first met this person, even though I should have. It was almost like a kind of glamour spell that this type of spirit can put over you if you give them an audience. So somebody out there needs to hear that, okay? So just be aware that if it seems too good to be true, it most likely is. And stay away from people who look like karmic individuals from your past who brought the chaos, okay? What do we have the sacral, please? Page of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy, Stolos. Further reiterating what I was just speaking about. This baby owl. Whenever I see this card, it gives the impression of somebody who's trying to be something they are not, right? It's essentially a baby owl with a crown on. And they've got the owl eyes, which, always look very big and expressive, but it also gives this energy of, I wonder if they'll notice. The person you could be dealing with could have long, skinny legs, high torso, quite possibly. Webbed feet, kind of too big for their body. I just heard someone's trying to paint over the cracks so they can fool you. And it can be exciting when a new person comes into your life. So much so that a lot of the times you'll throw out your own intuitive guidance. Because let's face it, we all want love, right? We all want to connect with other individuals, even in friendships. But there's just something about this time that we're living in, Cancer, where you got to be really careful how you move. I'm not telling you not to go out there and meet new people. In fact, I encourage you to do that. But you really need to be careful and practice discernment here, okay? Because you're in a time where you have way too much to lose now. You've worked really hard to get to this point, and you have to remember that when you've put this amount of work in, the devil is going to try and weasel his way back into your life, and he will use these individuals to do it. Extensions of his bidding. Don't forget that. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Strength, Vine, in its negative polarity, Leo energy. Right underneath that Six of Wands, also Leo energy at the solar plexus. This Strength card speaks about having a lack of self-discipline. So I feel that This is emphasizing the message of utilizing discernment because of how much you have to lose here. It can also be an energy of doing things out of your character, just for the sake of example. If you're somebody who doesn't drink, maybe you meet somebody and they encourage you to go have a drink, quite possibly after you've been sober for years. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly that. You can apply that to your own life. There's many different ways that can show up. But it's you essentially doing things outside of your normal character or routine that is influenced by an individual that is trying to make their way into your life. Be very careful of this. If you have to break your stride, your routine, or put your path in jeopardy for another person, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know, Cancer. You need people in your life that hold the same energy as you. And until you can find those individuals who bring that value to the table, you're better off walking this path a lone wolf, because there's far too many snakes out there that will make a move on you when you least expect it. And you'll find yourself right back at the beginning and having undone all of this work that you've put into this new beginning, Cancer. What do we have at the heart, please? Wow. Balaam, Page of Wands, False Promises. And whenever I see this card, it gives this trickster kind of energy, right? It's like there they are, trying to weasel their way into your life right underneath this Eight of Pentacles. Here you are working away, and then here they come. This is a very misleading energy that creates a lot of setbacks in your life, a reflection of the past. Same spirit, different human. This is somebody who lacks direction. And instead of going out there and finding their way to their own path, they would rather drag other people down so they don't have to wander around in the darkness alone. Misery loves company. And again, I'm hearing for some of you, this is a family member or family members. I just heard you make them look ridiculous with the amount of progress you've made in your own life. The comparison between where they still are in their life and where you currently are is a rude awakening for many other onlookers. I feel like these individuals feel very exposed by you, Cancer, and all you're doing is becoming the best version of yourself. And then we have Aasia, Universal Medicine, Nine of Wands again. So we have it twice. We have the negative polarity and the positive polarity. So this is you pushing forward in faith. You're persisting forward despite any of these setbacks, any of these distractions. And whenever I see this card, it's like this angel clearing the path for you, clearing the runway for takeoff, so to speak. There's a very determined, very resilient energy that I'm getting from you, Cancer. But now more than ever, Cancer, you got to understand that the higher you go, the more attempts they'll make toward dragging you back down. As time goes on, it becomes easier to deal with this. It's almost something you start to laugh about. But it's too easy to forget this sometimes. You know, I find myself forgetting about all the horrors that I had to overcome in my own life to go through my own awakening. Feels like it was such a long time ago now. But the divine sits me down a lot to remind me, don't forget where you came from. Don't forget what you had to deal with. Because when things are going so good in your life, Cancer, it's really easy to forget. You know, you don't want to be consumed with the negativity you had to overcome. You don't want to think about all that. You just want to be as far removed from it as you possibly can. I get it. I feel the exact same. But you have to make sure that you can pull that shield up in a moment's notice, metaphorically speaking, whenever you need to. I don't know why right now, Cancer, but I just thought about Bruce Lee. Right? Or maybe some of you have Bruce Lee as a spirit guide. It's going to resonate with somebody out there. In fact, I actually think there's somebody out there who's watching or looking at something with Bruce Lee on it. I don't know. That's just, that channeling's coming through out of nowhere. All right, let's keep going. What do we have at the throat? Lovers, Hanuel, Gemini energy at the throat. Joy and pleasure removes negative energy. So this is alignment. It's you calibrating with your higher self, coming into union with the divine. Whenever I see the Lovers in spreads like this, it makes me think about how we're all essentially sent down here to complete a mission, right? We run these karmic cycles and these family dynamics, or however this shows up for you. And then we're guided by the divine to remove ourselves from these cycles, which this is not easy at all. It takes years in some cases before you're even fully awakened to the truth. So whenever I see this Lover's card here, it's as if that masculine angel is representative of the divine, and the feminine angel, which almost looks like she's being rescued, is representing all of you right now, right? It's like the divine is coming to remove you from this karmic cycle. The mission is complete. And it's as if there's this sort of grace period, this moment, this timeout that you have before you start to come back online, right? It gives the feeling of waking up from a really deep sleep where you were just in another world dreaming. And when you wake up, it takes you a minute to remember where you are, who you are. Is this real or is this the dream? This is what I'm getting here. And it's right underneath this moon, which is all connected to the dream space, the subconscious. So this can also be speaking about your acceptance of the truth. And this goes back to what I said regarding not forgetting where you came from. I feel like sometimes you sit down, Cancer, and you think about everything you've gone through. It's almost hard to even grasp. Like, what? How could that happen? It's like having removed yourself from a karmic cycle and then looking back and realizing that everything before that awakening was a kind of illusion, a kind of lie, that you were being forced to live inside that cycle. And that's really speaking about what awakening is. We wake up and we start to realize that we've been living inside an illusion, a kind of lie that doesn't want us to see the truth. What do we have at the third eye, please? The world. Jamabia. God, the source of wisdom, gives success in all ventures. So, this is speaking about the completion of this cycle, right? So here you are, let's say being rescued by the divine, removed from the cycle. Then you're taken back up to divine mothership. And the divine's like, yes, Cancer, so you just came from this karmic cycle on planet Earth, right? So you're waking up now to the truth, and you're like, oh my God. Yes, those people that you were dealing with in your family, your friends, people you dated, they were all demons, right? They were all part of the matrix, but now you've woken up. Your real family is up here with all of us. But this speaks about your higher guidance, your perception, right? It's like whenever I think about this energy in my own life, it's just a kind of perception you have. You also feel very connected to source. You don't feel alone. You know, when I went through my last major awakening and I went down that path all alone, one of the main things that I kept focusing on was the fact I was alone. And as time went on, I just started to feel myself surrounded by this energy of support from source, from the divine, from the guides, right? That allowed me to feel more accompanied on my path than I ever have at any point in my entire life when I was surrounded by countless people. The unseen, the spiritual realm, Cancer, provides you with all the comfort you need, and anyone who comes on your path should essentially just be seen as a bonus. And this is usually when you start to understand what love really is, because you found that inner peace. And then when somebody comes into your life and you can share that kind of love, there's nothing compares to that. That's on a whole other level. That's what it's all about. That's real love. A love that you've nurtured from within with source and the divine, now being reflected back to you in your waking life by the universe. What do we have to close this out for, Cancer, please? 10 of Wands, Nanuel, 9 of Wands, 9 of Wands, and we close on the 10 of Wands, Sag energy at the crown. God humiliating the proud. Wow, goes along with everything I just said. Spiritual communication influences religious men, teachers, and men of law. So God humiliating the proud, that's really speaking about the illumination surrounding these individuals' lives that you've left in the past now. They're being humiliated. People are starting to see them for who they really are. 10 of Wands speaks about you also laying down your burdens now. Also something I spoke about earlier on in the reading. But all in all, this 10 of Wands is speaking about this newfound sense of freedom that you found in your life now. So wherever you may be in accordance with this timeline on this journey, I certainly hope that you're able to extract some useful messages to help you forward on your path. Cancer, this is the message I have available to you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donations, Cancer. Take care.